has been being stuck in what I call campaign communication mode as opposed to doing strategy communication. So with the failure of Stratcoms, a lot of things have actually found us simply by not communicating properly. One of the reasons, and this is a personal opinion, one of the reasons I think we lost the finance bill wasn't entirely because it was as bad as it actually had been put out there. I took time and did a comparison between the previous finance law and what we were proposing. And from where I sit, I thought the other one was actually much harsher. But then we didn't communicate well. The Friday, just before 25th June, there was, we had just paid, I think, the Eurobond at that particular point. That didn't matter. A number of the proposals that were actually very sticky had actually been talked out of that particular piece of legislation, but we didn't communicate effectively. Still, the element, and that cannot, let's not really talk about what we've not done well, because sometimes they say a poor workman complains about tools. So the communication bit of it is problematic. That we should not run away from. Because why then would it take people to come out for us to come and give solutions or other answers and responses that should be completely communicated much earlier? I still see the same challenges in how we are communicating the transition from NHIF to SHIF and SHA. Some of those questions, you don't need people to come out to the streets or people to complain, for people to actually be explained to. Because there is rationale to why some decisions are made, but the explanations come after the fact. That, of course, then sows the seed around, people really not trusting government. So there's that bit. But also, you also have to accept that we have been through a very serious political phase. We've not really moved out from the Gen Z's demonstration as such. The country is still in a daze of sorts. So we've not moved away from that. And then there's the bandwagon effect. Regime bashing, and that for me, I still find it a little bit puzzling. From them, like let's talk about the legislature, for example. They have got three main functions: to legislate, to oversight, and to do representation. Of course, representation comes first. But I still think that the weakest link in our governance, because if we're going to talk about this regime, there's a way we'll try to look at government as only the executive part of it. Okay. That for me, I think is a failure in many ways, because the legislature plays a very important role. When you talk about budgeting, our parliament is not a late endorser to the budget making process as was in the days of old. Our parliament is a budget making body. Okay. So sometimes we want to run away from that part, not asking everybody to hold their part, that if parliament were to do their work properly, for example, we wouldn't have a lot of this anger. Like Mheshimiwa Mulu has said here, parliamentarians spend a lot of time on the ground. Every weekend, unless they've traveled out of the country, parliamentarians are actually on the ground. They listen more, they get much more from the people. You will get the same from MCAs. So if that sentiment was actually to be domiciled in parliament, then a lot of the policy directions that we've seen sometimes causing problems would actually not be what we see.
And secondly, that's a parliament that, legislators have opined, have received instructions from elsewhere.
When they were elected, they didn't get the mandate from elsewhere.
They are here, they'll answer.
Well, I will not speak for them, but I would actually say that when they came to parliament, they did not get the mandate from elsewhere. They had the mandate from the people. Okay. So if we had to shorten that loop so that then we don't have to park this blame elsewhere, and I will still hold to this, that parliament is full of CDF managers as opposed to legislators. That's the truth. Okay. That we have got guys who really do not care about legislation, who don't care about policy, who don't care about oversight. All they care about is that they have their CDF, because if you take care of your CDF very well, by the way, you will be re-elected. That's the truth. Okay. So the core function, why parliament exists, actually has died on the altar of CDF. So as much as we will go round and round and round that, this is not a blame we can pack in one post and talk about the executive really being to blame. And I'm talking about budget here specifically because, like I said, Parliament is not a late endorser to the budget-making process like it used to be.
Okay.
This Parliament that we have, the Parliament that comes in from 2013 onwards, is a budget-making body. So they can't run away from that.